Good afternoon and welcome to this week's small weekly workshop video diary. It's been a lovely week this week. I have had my son actually with me at the workshop for most of the week, I think every day this week. And because COVID's gotten a bit serious here, so we decided to have him here with me in the shop. It's just me obviously here. He's actually here right now, so if you hear someone that sounds like a 2.5, actually he's almost 3-year-old making some noises, that's what's happening right now. So yeah, this week's been good. I've been kind of it's like a funny time of the year. So it's January the 8th, I think today, maybe the 7th, somewhere around there. It's fun looking forward, knowing kind of my waiting list is already pretty much full for the year. Well, it is full for the year. And it's very exciting actually, looking forward at all the builds I have to do. And yeah, so it's kind of it's an interesting start to the year. You know, for me, it's my first time where I've started on January. Actually, I started on January the 2nd this year. I wasn't here on the 1st, but I was here on the 2nd. Where I'm full and I can kind of look forward and I know exactly what's happening, and you know, I have all the wood for the year already and a lot of the hardware, and that's quite exciting. And so this week I have been, I'm still catching up on some builds from last year I wanted to get done in time for Christmas that weren't done in time for Christmas. A few kind of big commissions from last year, some bases actually from last year, some Wayfair bases that I've been working on a lot as well, just little things. It's funny, the longer I do this, the longer each build takes, because I you know, there's like a 10-point checklist where you have to, like, for quality control. And say, you know, you start off as a guitar builder and you have like a 10-point checklist where you can realize things that are, you know, could be better. And the longer I'm doing this, the more kind of things that I'm seeing that I want to get a little bit better. And yeah, I mean, I don't think too much about my time and, you know, versus the money. Yeah, so I'm doing a lot of these like last minute checks, and also like time in between processes is quite important too. Like, I think that, you know, we're dealing with wood, and wood moves around an awful lot, or at least a bit, with temperature and humidity and string tension and truss rods, and so there's time in between processes is quite important. So I think at the very final stage of the build, I don't commit to a final setup until the instruments had some time to kind of move around. There's my boy talking. He's saying cheese because I am here. But anyway, I have, he knows that I'm in front of the camera and he doesn't realize I'm taking a video. I had a bunch of questions about what to talk about in this week's video workshop weekly diary thingy-majingity. And we might be about to have my son in the video. But anyway, so let's start off. I had about 70 questions actually, which is an awful lot for little old me. A lot of questions actually about the new luthier special idea. You know, first of all, I launched this last week, and hang on 1 second. Whoop. This is Oscar. I think he wants to be in the video too. So yeah, there's a new. Oh. I think I need to edit this out. 1 second. Oh. But anyway, to the questions I had this week about what's, you know, I did a thing on Instagram yesterday saying what should I talk about, and people responded. A lot of questions about this new luthier special idea that I launched last Saturday, and some people wanted to know kind of what ideas I have that I haven't tried yet, and some guys just saying I think it's a really, really cool idea, and yeah, I actually don't really want to say too much about the specific kind of nitty-gritty, kind of very forward-thinking design ideas. I mean, I'm not talking about a totally new, you know, super ergonomic in the kind of classical, you know, modern guitar sense. You know, these ergonomic guitars that look a little bit strange, but quite new, modern ideas, still around. You know, like a classic Wayfair shape or something. Because I would imagine there'd be a Wayfair, but some design elements and some kind of clever features that will make the guitars better, just better. But I don't want to say what they are until I've done it the first time, because they're all quite exciting ideas, and I think if I say it's a little bit. It's not giving the ideas the credit they deserve and the space they deserve to be celebrated. Because I think it'll be very exciting the first time I show you guys the first Luthier special with these new ideas, and you guys will be excited about that. But what I can say that is, a little bit more kind of vanilla in terms of their, straightforward ideas. It's just that I do have a secret stock of wood. I have a stock of wood where, I'm always bringing wood into the shop, and if there is a particular piece of something that I think is particularly special, I only use good wood, but you know what I mean. That sometimes there's a particular way that a fretboard was cut where the grain is just incredible or something, or a particular piece of ash that just weighs a little bit less and has a little bit of a more resonant tone when you knock it than the next piece of ash next to it. No two pieces of wood are similar, and some are better. And so yeah, one thing with the Luthier Special is you're getting years worth of my workshop's best woods. So that's kind of one of the only features I can really talk about openly. The person who orders the first one will get to hear the ideas. People start asking about what types of finish I use, and I use a kind of a unique blend of a few different types of oil. Most of them are kind of readily available over shop counters. Actually, the main oil I use I can't buy in Denmark. I have to get it imported from the States. But I use a few different oils, like 5 or 6 normally. Each guitar gets. Some are particularly good at penetrating, so like a thinner oil will be better at getting deep into the grain, but maybe isn't so good at giving a nice finish, whereas a thicker oil would go on later in the process of finishing. So I just like oil finishes. I think they feel better, I think they sound better. The idea of coating a piece of wood in plastic, which is what most guys are doing, it just seems silly to me. I mean, to have an instrument, a musical instrument that you then coat in plastic doesn't make any sense. To me anyway. It's such a compromise. So yeah, oil basically. Favorite actually albums. I had a few questions about what music I'm into. This is huge, and it depends on what mood I'm in. I have been listening today to, I think they're a French-Canadian band called Men I Trust. They're pretty cool. And Parcels. I like Parcels a lot. They are Australian, but they live in Berlin. That's what I've been listening to today. I think my Spotify rewind for last year was Jacob Collier mainly, and Noah and Louis Cole, and also Blake Mills. Those are the things that were kind of highest up. But I think favorite albums is really difficult. It depends what mood I'm in, and that's Oscar's favorite album, and yet to be released. And next up is how to become a luthier, or any tips I have in becoming a luthier, and one is just to do it. I am not someone that did very well at school. I have to kind of do things myself. So that really worked for me, was just to get some wood, some scrap wood, and a tool and just start cutting. Yeah, it's very straightforward actually, just a lot of kind of learning by doing, and try to keep stretching yourself, and watch, ask me questions. That's another way of learning. Lots of people write me. What else how do I align a whole guitar so everything is straight? Now there's kind of 2 ways that things have to be straight. They have to be straight, neck, pickups, bridge, this way. But also, if you think about the kind of silhouette of the guitar. But actually the one that's a bit more difficult to get right is the neck pocket depth, neck break angle, action, nuts, pickup height, and the bridge height. That takes a little bit more practice and kind of understanding of the measurements of the hardware that you're using. But how do you do it right is basically by measuring. And what else do we have? Frank Zappa opinions. He's very, very cool. I got some Frank Zappa records given to me when I was around 14 from my parents, and I think I was too young to really appreciate them, but he was great. Died too young. Good taste in guitars, actually. Great taste in guitars. A lot of questions about my neck joints and how I get them so smooth. It's really boring. It's just quite good woodwork. I have a few here. I'm not going to bring them to the camera actually, but it's just making sure that the surfaces all kind of connect really nicely, so that you get a really good glue joint. And being careful, I allow myself to spend a day getting a neck joint perfect if it's necessary, because it's so important and so crucial for a good guitar to have a good neck joint actually. And I get them good, good clean joining and making sure that all the right angles are right, and that's basically it. Do I do any bolt on necks? I think they're a bit rubbish, to be honest. I think that glued in necks are much more elegant. They make for better sounding instruments. There's much better vibration transfer between the neck and the body. It's just better. It's also much more comfortable. It's a bit lighter actually. The 4 screws and the metal plates is a bit of weight, and kind of weight in an awkward place of the body as well. It's just not as good. I think the arguments for having a bolt on is for if you say you want to have like a true temperament neck or something, so you want to have the ability to take your neck off and on again frequently. But if you don't plan on taking your neck off the guitar after you've gotten it, then a glued neck is always better, in my opinion. How good a guitarist am I? Not good enough to do this. Do I do the wirings myself? Yes, I do all the electronics myself. I'm too much of a control freak to give anyone else to control over anything like that. I do all my own pickups. I do everything on a guitar apart from I don't make the tuners and I don't make the bridges, or I kind of make the bridges. I assemble the bridges out of parts that I buy individually. If I had a mill, then I would start making my own tuners. I would love to do that actually. Electronics, pickups, all the woodwork, of course, is all made in this shed basically. Oh, last one. Your thoughts on roasted wood versus properly dried wood? This is a tough one actually. Properly dried, well, I think roasted wood would always be a little bit drier than properly dried wood. I have a wood roasting oven, and I also have properly dried wood, and I also have a wood moisture reader. I'm getting really into it actually, into moisture levels of wood, and before I do pair a neck to a body, I will make sure that they have the same moisture content, as much as possible. And that's quite fun. I think that roasted is always going to weigh a little bit less, and I also like how roasted wood looks. I think I like how when you're working on roasted wood, it is a little bit easier to work on. I think because it's kind of the sap is more crystallized, so it's a little bit you feel slightly less resistance when you're cutting through roasted wood over non-roasted but very dry wood. So I like how roasted wood looks. I like how it feels under, if I'm cutting it with a chisel, I can feel the difference between roasted and dried. And yeah, I think there's no negatives to roasted unless you don't like the darker look. It is a slightly more exciting, aesthetic. So yeah, those are those two things. Roasted versus dried. I prefer roasted. I think it's a bit cooler. There's some woods I wouldn't roast though. I haven't tried roasting Wenge, and I think it's too oily to roast. Like roasted rosewood wouldn't make any sense. Like woods with very high oil content, it doesn't make any sense. I think I'll have to try it one day. But yeah. Anything else that really shouts out? I think that is basically it. But thank you very much for all the questions. I really appreciate it. I always really appreciate it. I hope you found them, at least one of them, relatively interesting. And yeah, it's been such a lovely time. It's been really nice having my son here, talking right on schedule. It's been so nice having him here, and it's great. He kind of keeps himself busy, and it's really fun. I have so much scrap wood, and of course he thinks that's really fun to play with. So that's been really nice. It's been a great vibe in the shop, and I think actually I finished this yesterday. I think I strung this up yesterday, and it doesn't have a cavity cover yet, but I'm very happy with it. Yeah. Yeah. And it's funny, the Naked Mortys, they're all really different. They all play so differently, whilst being the same. It's really been an education in checking out woods, actually, the Naked Mortys, and also checking out the intricacies of guitars, and seeing where you can get your extra 1% or something. 1% resonance and goodness. It's missing strap pins and a final setup. I finished it. I literally strung it up yesterday. I tuned it once, and it's still basically in tune. Yeah, so I want to leave it a week, and then I'll do the final setup, so I know that the wood is not going to move too much more, and then I'll ship it. But yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate you watching this. Again, I'm saying this twice now, and I will see you next week.